General Hospital spoilers reveal determination, confrontations, sneaking suspicions, and so much more. You won't want to miss a moment of this emotional new episode. The last of the crew from Greenland is on a plane back home. Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, and Trina, Tabiana Ali, are determined to move on with their lives together as they navigate life as a couple. However, they are also aware that they are going back to a life with Esm, Avery Kristen Pohl, in it, and that is the last thing either one of them wants. Showing that he has a one-track mind, Spencer vows to Trina that he will become Ace's legal guardian no matter what. After all, that is what prompted him to board the Haunted Star. To begin with, the idea that Victor could help him get custody of Ace. As Trina makes her way home Portia, Brooke Kerr, is both thrilled and furious. Sure, she will be happy to have her daughter back in Port Charles safe and sound, but she still feels Spencer is directly responsible for Trina's dangerous plight with Victor Charles Shaughnessy. She does not want Trina anywhere near Spencer anymore, but at least Taggart, Rel Andrews, is there with a warning for his ex-wife. She better tread lightly with Trina, or she risks alienating her when their relationship is already on tenuous ground. With Carly, Michael, Chad Duell, and Drew, Cameron Matheson, all believing that it was Ned Wally Kurth who turned Carly and Drew into the SEC for insider trading, Ned will need all the family on his side that he can get. After Drew decks him, Ned once again insists someone else called the SEC, but Drew isn't buying it. It's a good thing Tracy, Jane Elliott, finally looks like she believes her son. She even has her own theory about how the SEC got its information. GH spoilers say that Olivia, Lisa Locicero, is skeptical. Is she unsure of Tracy's theory or of Ned's defenses after a tumultuous last year? Sasha, Sophia Matson, is often someone who wants to keep the peace and mind her own business. In her quest to be a good friend to dying Willow, Caitlin McMullen, Sasha has bit her tongue every single time Willow has said something nasty and horrible about Nina, Cynthia Watrous, the woman who is Willow's mother and who Sasha wishes was her own mother. Is that why GH spoilers say that Sasha shuts Carly down, or does something else prompt it? Carly wonders if Sasha still needs a guardian and has never liked Gladys either. Will Sasha find herself defending the wrong person? The General Hospital recap features Willow Tate getting ready for her long-awaited bone marrow transplant. In this episode, Willow went into isolation in preparation for chemotherapy and her bone marrow transplant. Nina apologized to Carly and asked for help, but was interrupted by Liesl and Drew's arrival. Ned defended himself to the women in his life to no avail, while Drew was questioned by the SEC. Finally, Robert found himself with two women wanting his attention. Now let's dig a little deeper into the details. Now that the bone marrow was on its way, Willow, Caitlin McMullen, braced herself for a second round of chemo and then a transplant. The idea that she would have to be in isolation during this time upset her, so she wanted a few moments left with Michael, Chad Duell, before her health would take priority. She even worried it would be the last time they'd ever hold hands and told Michael it was his love that had helped her stay alive so she could be cured. Nina, Cynthia Watrous, stopped Carly, Laura Wright, outside the hospital elevator and told Carly she was wrong for blaming her for her difficult relationship with Willow. Nina acknowledged the mistakes she made with Willow in the past, but admitted she was still desperate to have a connection with her daughter and asked for Carly's help. Just then, Drew, Cameron Matheson, and Liesl, Kathleen Gaddy, got off the elevator ready to deliver all that marrow. At least that cheered Nina up as she was thrilled to see Aunt Liesl, who filled her in on her adventure in Greenland. Liesl praised Drew for saving her as he tried to be modest, but then the SEC showed up before Carly had a chance to fill him in on what happened when he was gone. Liesl was so grateful for Drew's help that she came to his defense with the feds, but Drew finally agreed to talk with them. With Drew and Carly elsewhere, Nina and Liesl had some time alone, but all Liesl did was rant about how wrong it was for the SEC to come down on her savior. This just made Nina more distraught, so she stopped Liesl from talking and changed the subject to saving Willow. They ran to Willow's room, but when they arrived, Willow was gone, and Nina worried that she died before the marrow could arrive. Michael explained that Willow was in isolation and even thanked Liesl for donating Willow's life-saving elixir. Once in isolation, Willow lay in bed and actually looked sick as she hugged an emesis basin. To cheer her up, Michael brought Wiley and Amelia to the window, hoping they would give Willow the emotional strength she needed as she geared up for the fight of her life. Dex, Evan Hofer, and Joss, Eden McCoy, remained on his couch while Jocelyn worried about all these random people in her life, so Dex suggested they cook instead. As Joss has never cooked before, Dex had to give her lessons. He even described how much he loved cooking and how much it meant to him, which typically helps win a woman's heart. They even planned a public trip to the farmer's market together. That brought the conversation right to Sunny as per usual, with Dex informing Joss that Sunny, Morris Bernard, didn't want to get involved in their relationship or be the romance police. This gave Joss food for thought, but then Michael's call interrupted her thoughts. At the Quartermain mansion, Olivia, Lisa Locicero, and Brooke Lynn, Amanda Seton, were ready to defend Carly and berate Ned Wallykurth because they couldn't put their trust in him and believe that he wasn't the one to call the SEC. Ned did his best to defend himself as his daughter and wife placed the blame on him, frustrating and insulting Ned. When Tracy, Jane Elliott, heard what was going on, she also believed that Ned did the deed, but was proud of him for it. Ned pointed out that Drew, Cameron Matheson, and Carly did indeed engage in insider trading, but also stressed that anyone could have turned them in and it wasn't him. Brooke Lynn didn't buy it, but Ned explained that Drew's situation could harm ELQ, and he'd never do anything to purposely hurt the family company. Olivia didn't believe him and accused her husband of turning into Edward Tew right in front of her eyes. Tracy just defended her father, but not her son, as bickering ensued. Oddly enough, the fight came to an end due to Joss and Dex coming through the front door. Tracy was not happy to see them at all, but they had a purpose for being there. Michael wanted them to bring Wiley and Amelia to the hospital, so they got to make more than one public appearance together. Once Joss and Dex were gone, the bickering continued as an exasperated Ned continued to defend himself. Just then, Drew burst through the front door and promptly decked Ned. Diane, Carolyn Hennessy, paid a visit to Robert's, Tristan Rogers' office, where he apologized for using her during the Holly Emma Sam's mess last fall. He then thanked her for helping him out legally with the WSB agent and even flirted with her. Diane flirted back as Robert asked her to share a glass of champagne with him right then and there, but then Sam called because Drew needed an attorney while the SEC questioned him. Robert got another surprise when Holly appeared as his next visitor. He couldn't wait to hear all about Holly's rescue mission in Greenland. She even bragged about being the one to help Selena Wu, Lydia Look, give Victor Charles Shaughnessy a drug to make him impotent. When she finished her tale, Holly planted a wet one on Robert just as Diane peeped through the door and saw the whole thing.